Hello, theme park enthusiasts, and welcome to my Warner Brothers Studios park. Now, in the last episode you saw, hopefully a few hours ago, I completed the Welcome to Derry section of the park. I did go ahead and record video on ride of the majority of the rides. I'm hoping to try and get on ride here a bit, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. So we're going to have to see here. I make no guarantees that this is going to work well. Alright, we're in group 1. Let's try group 3. There we go. So I did want to try this, but I don't know if it's going to really be okay or if it's going to be sort of crunchy because of the guests being in the park and such. So we can look out the gondola here. You can see in part the buildings over there, but again the buildings look sort of normal from this angle, which is exactly what I intended. So it doesn't really break the illusion for you. Then we're going over this water area we created. Very happy about that. And we're going down into the park. I did set the guest count at 500, so that way hopefully it won't impact the park too badly. I do have all the rides running, so we will see how that ends up working for us. People are evidently wanting to go on the monorail, even though it's just a big circle that goes around. But hey, if they want to go on the monorail, they are free to do so. I'm just happy after all this time seeing people in the park. Because, I mean, I worked hard to get this set up this way. So, we're going to let the guests, I mean, they're just barely coming in now. I'm going to let them sort of mosey on down. They haven't even gotten to the Barbie ride yet. And I want to get people down in the Derry area before we do some on-rides there. So, I will be back in a few minutes once they're all sort of down to the different areas. Alright, we've got the people coming into the park. You can see we've got a full line here for the Barbie ride already, which works out great. So we will hop on a car here, go on it, because we've already got the people in the Derry area. So let's go ahead and pick one of the earlier cars. Alright, there we go. So I did put 10 cars driving around because I figured that will give a fairly good cycle of people through, sort of continuous on the path here, which I think works out well. I have to say, at least on my end, it's not looking too crunchy or anything with the guests in the park. I'm happy about that because I did want this to be functional. I wanted to be able to enjoy seeing people walking around the town, people going on the rides, everything of that nature. A lot of people going into the Stephen King's It ride over there, as you can see, which is perfect. I probably will still put out the other footage. That way, if you just want to see the rides without me talking over them and stuff, or without the guests making noises, you can just enjoy the rides for themselves. As I said, I'll probably put that as a third video, but this one you get the experience of the people actually in the town. We'll probably ride the Barbie ride toward the end as well, when all the guests are sort of throughout the park. Because as I said, they're still coming in. They haven't really gotten on the rides yet. But I do love how it does feel on this Barbie ride like you are driving down the streets of an actual town. Makes me really happy because that's the exact intention I had for this. And I am going to cut in between videos here so that way I'll make sure that we've got guests on the other ride before we go ahead and get onto it. probably will do one of the roller coasters next, I think. Do have a little bit of a wait here in line. Maybe I should cut this down by a few cars. Might do that. And here we go on this ride. So I'm fairly pleased with the way this came out. Was a decent amount of work, but it really does sort of give the story of what went on in Derry in its past. So here we have the Bradley gang shootout. And we do have some glitching going on to it. Wonder if the game's trying to save right now. Yeah, I think that was it. It was saving right there. I do apologize. But as I said, this is definitely pushing my computer's capabilities here. So that's going to happen a little bit. Then we have the black spot burning. And then above it, we have the giant bird. Very happy about that. Like the way that came out looking. We got some guests in here with us. Seem happy about it as well. Then we've got the outside of the Kitchener Ironworks here. All on fire. And then we've got our familiar clown over there by the gates. Then as more people come in, it'll start flowing a bit better, and they are starting to flow in pretty nicely. So as I said, we're going to get on the roller coaster here in the dark and see how that goes. Alright, so we're over at the Kitchener Ironworks roller coaster, and we are just in time to get on with a group of people and enjoy the ride. So they should be boarding here momentarily, and we'll go from there. As I said, I do feel like this ride works better in the dark. Even though I put up the black walls and stuff, it still does get some light to it during the day. But at nighttime, it definitely looks better, I'd say. Sounds like everybody's sort of loaded on. Now this is a bit of a slow paced ride here at the beginning because you have to wait for it to go ahead and head up to the back and or up the hill and everything. But you know what? That's okay. It works out still as a really good ride, I think. Still letting a few more people on. As I said, I did go ahead and just turn it to nighttime so that way we can enjoy the ride as it is without having to worry about it switching between day and night. I'll probably do the same for the log ride because I do feel it is better in the nighttime. And then as I said, when we ride the Barbie ride again, we'll do that in the dark as well. I did shut down that ride and go ahead and put it down to 7 cars. So probably we're not going to have a lot of guests over at it right now. Who knows? Maybe we will. I could be surprised about that. But as of right now, I don't think we're going to have a lot of guests there. So might not have a full car when we go through with it, but we'll see. I think after this, though, we will go ahead and do the Wild Mouse. And then we'll go ahead and get on. I do love the explosions and such. I think they really work well and just add to the chaos of the ride. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do the Wild Mouse next, then probably get back on the Barbie ride. And we'll finish up the video with riding on the ride that sort of made this all happen in my mind in It. But up next, the Wild Mouse. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get on the Wild Mouse coaster here with a family. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really actually happy with the amount of guests that are here, and they're still running pretty well overall, I think. So, more guests than I expected in the park, and it's working out pretty well. Certain rides like the Ferris wheel doesn't seem to have a lot of interest, but you know what? That's okay. It is the way it is. And we will enjoy the rides that we can, like the Wild Mouse here with this family. Not a lot of people in line for it, but I think the heavily themed rides are going to be the ones where people go to the most, and that's just sort of understandable. I will say though, I am pleased with the way that the park has come out. It is exactly what I had hoped for out of it, so I'm glad that I was able to sort of make this vision come to life. Was thinking of something, now I completely lost track of what I was thinking about. Now, hopefully the ride will take off here in a few moments. He is going to wait for guests and stuff, but there we go. Now this is a basic Wild Mouse. As I said, I just got this one off the workshop, but the person who did it did a great job. It looks great, and I personally feel like it rides great as well. It's a ride I would definitely enjoy going on myself. Unfortunately, I've got some bad news for myself in the fact my wife and I are going on our anniversary toward the end of October. It's 1 year since we got married at that point, and very excited for it. But we were going to San Antonio, and we were planning on going to Six Flags since we have season passes. But unfortunately, Six Flags is only going to be open on the weekends, and we're going in the middle of the week. So unfortunately, on this particular trip, I'm not going to get on a roller coaster. So it's going to be close to a year, I think, in between times I get to go to a park and on a roller coaster, but I'll somehow make it through. And we get that lag again when it goes to save. As I said, that is the worst part with Planet Coaster right now, is just the fact that it does have that happen. I'm hoping almost they might have put in some kind of parameters for Planet Coaster 2 where it doesn't allow that to happen, where you can't make it too big so that it glitches the game. But as it stands, I mean, we've got people waiting in line there. We have an enormous clog of people here, which is a bit unfortunate, but they're working their way through. A lot of them are waiting for the ride here, so that's going to be the case. And then other ones are getting marshmallows. So then we got the cars driving through for the Barbie ride there. Perfect. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and ride the Barbie ride now. And then we will come back and do the final ride that we're going to do in Stephen King's It. So it does look like my adjustment worked out well here. We pretty much have one car in the station at any given time. Otherwise, there's not a big line of people waiting to unload and offload, which is exactly what I was wanting. So still going to have a big line of people waiting to get on the ride, but it's not like they're waiting on the ride itself then. Personally, that's one of my pet peeves. I hate when you get to the end of a ride and then you're sort of stuck waiting for the onload, offload procedures. So I try to get my rides as best I can where there isn't a huge wait time to get people on and off. Doesn't always work, but I do my best to try to get that. And as I said, I will I am uploading this to the workshop. It's actually been uploaded since this video was made. So you could have been playing with it before you see the video even, and experience this for yourself. But if you haven't yet, I will have made changes like the amount of cars here on the Barbie ride. And I'll check the other rides too to see if it's got too many cars, not enough cars, everything of that nature, to try to make it as functional as I possibly can. The Stephen King's It ride, I do wish I could put more than 9 logs on it because I feel like it would actually use more than the 9. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about that. That is the way it is. So I just had to sort of go with it. But there are a ton of people in the park. Really, my mind's blown with the amount of people that are here. And it really makes me happy because all the different things that I created are being used. The people seem to be enjoying. It's just a great environment. And I'm happy it's worked out the way it has. But the real test will be when we get on to Stephen King's It. Now with that one, I'm probably not going to do a first-person perspective like this. I'm actually going to do one that's from the back of the boat a bit, so that way we can hopefully watch the guests' reactions when they're getting sprayed with water and everything of that nature. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But definitely having the people in the park does make this, in my mind, better. It makes it come alive more. As I said, I will publish the other video that just shows the rides with no voiceover and without people in the park. So if you're just wanting to enjoy the rides themselves, by all means enjoy that video. But for me, I like this more. To me, a park really comes alive with the people. If you don't have the people on the rides and such, it's just not the same thing. So, I mean, I'd rather go to a park when it's a little bit on the crowded side and get to enjoy it with other guests there versus going to a park when it's not crowded at all. Alright, so that'll go ahead and wrap up this ride. As you can see, that one's being unloaded and reloaded right now. So there's just about the right amount of time in between vehicles, which is perfect. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and ride the last ride that I have here. The one that basically was the cause of making this park in the first place. The Stephen King's It ride. And I don't want it to sound over dramatic, but the thing is, this ride is so significant for me because I had this idea pretty much a year ago. And I started the Warner Brothers Parks. December 8th was the first video that was uploaded for this series. And I'm really happy with the way that it has come out. We'll be able to see over here, I believe. Yep, we can see the blood there. And then lurking in the shadows, you can see Pennywise over there. Here, it's a bit hard to see, but there is the mummy, as you know, over on the other side of that bridge right there. But yeah, so this series has almost been going for a full year, and it all is because of this specific ride. I love Stephen King's It. It's definitely my favorite story of all time. We have our leper over here to the side, as you can see. And I just felt like this game allowed me to bring it to life in a way that would be fun and hopefully allow other people to enjoy the story as much as I have. Now, I in no way am saying that I'm fantastic at Planet Coaster. I mean, I say on my channel, I game casually. I game because I want to enjoy. So, the fact of this coming out as good as it is, I'm proud with. I know there's a ton of things you probably could say. There's the bubbling mattress, and then we'll have the werewolf over here. But I'm sure there's a ton of things you could say, oh, you should have done this, oh, this could have been better. But for me, this was a huge undertaking, and I'm happy with the way it came out. I am excited for Planet Coaster 2, but I really don't think I'm going to do a park of this size anytime soon. I may regret that wording, and I may take it back at a point, but as of right now, this is going to be it for me for a little bit. And I'm pleased with what I got. So we got the guy falling there as he was murdered. We had the balloons under the bridge. We have "Come Home" written over there by Pennywise. And then we have Pennywise himself here behind the wall. But yeah, as I said, really am pleased with how it came out looking overall. I'm sure there are things that could have been worlds better, especially with some creators out there, because some people in Planet Coaster are just so good at what they do. But for me, I'm happy with this. It worked out the way I wanted it to, and I really couldn't be more pleased and proud of the product. So I do hope that you guys might enjoy it on your own computers. As I said, it'll be on the workshop, so you can definitely go on all the rides yourself. For me, this is going to be my final ride in Planet Coaster. I have no intention of going on any other ones. I will be waiting for Planet Coaster 2. That drop is insane. And you just get the briefest glimpse at those two, but that's okay. I'm fine with it being that way. Then we have the Ferris wheel here that I believe people are on, so that's cool. I love all the tentacle or all the spider arms that are sort of in the spider webbing here. Now I will say on the other video that I'm not going to do audio on, I did not turn the camera and stuff. It just faces forward on the rides. So you're going to see more detail here than you will on the other video if you go to watch it. That's not to say I don't recommend watching it. If you don't like my voice, for one, by all means, feel free to mute me. But I did want to go ahead and do this video because, as I said, this has been a big project for me. It was done with love. It was done out of complete respect for the content that I was trying to make here. And I hope that you feel, as I do, that it really highlights what I was trying to do. Because I do feel that it really worked out the way I wanted it to. I don't feel like I could have done any better than I did. Some people might have. But as I said, for me, this is about as good as it gets. And I'm really happy with it. So we have this sort of part through the darkness here, which I sort of like taking as long as it does. Because then it's sort of just got that eeriness. If you don't know the story and you didn't watch me build the park, you're not sure what's around this corner. Is it going to be the spider ready to attack you and such? But if you know the story, then you know, no, the spider is dead. The spider has been vanquished. It has perished. And so the people are safe, the town is safe. Now, as I said, as far as water ride goes, I did want to have some soaking elements. So we had the rain at the beginning, we have the massive drops, and then just in case somebody had gotten through the ride without being completely soaked, we've got the sprayers here that'll get them wet at the end. With that though, I think I'm going to go ahead and sort of say my little bit here at the end and let you just enjoy as the ride comes to a conclusion, as does this series. If you enjoyed the series, and especially if you've enjoyed these on-ride perspectives, please give the video a like. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Because while Planet Coaster may be done on my channel, Planet Coaster 2 is coming up, as are many other games. So with that in mind, thank you for going on this journey with me. Thank you for enjoying my little trip through Derry and my nostalgia over the Welcome to Derry. Hopefully the series will be good, but specifically Stephen King's hit. And with that, I hope to see you back for more videos in the future.